When I lived in London, I went to one of those business networking events. You know, those often awkward events with a bunch of strangers, everyone is trying to sell their services, and you end up with hundreds of business cards. At this particular event, I ended up getting stuck talking to this guy who had come up with so many ideas that went on to be successful products or services. They just weren't developed by him. Transport apps, fast food chains, fashion trends, you name it. Others had stolen his ideas, got rich, and he was poor and bitter. While talking to him, I felt he was missing one vital part of information. Derek Sivers says, ideas are worth nothing unless executed. They are just a multiplier. Execution is worth millions. I have always loved coming up with ideas. About a year ago, my friend lent me the book Making Ideas Happen: Overcoming the Obstacles Between Vision and Reality by Scott Belsky. The first chapter was brilliant. Then I stopped reading. And so, you see where the problem lies. If I can't even finish a book about making ideas happen, what hope do I actually have to execute? But if at first you don't succeed, try again. And so, in this video, I'm going to share 5 tips from making ideas happen to help you turn your ideas into reality. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the Better Adult Project by hitting the button below. Tip number 1. Organization is important. Creativity doesn't equal impact. It's organization that allows you to manage and execute ideas. Your creativity multiplied by your organization equals your impact. If you take 100 lots of creativity, but you times it by 0 organization, you have 0 impact. But if you take 50 lots of creativity and times it by 2 of organization, you then have an impact of 100. So bottom line, organization is pretty important. Tip 2. The action method. The action method begins with a simple premise. Everything is a project. Treat every idea and everything you work on as its own project, whether that's learning an instrument, planning a party, or starting a side hustle. View them all as projects. According to Cambridge Dictionary, a project is a piece of planned work or an activity that is finished over a period of time and intended to achieve a particular purpose. You see, a project has a particular time frame and a purpose. Thinking of your ideas as projects will help you to take them seriously. Each project has 3 primary components: action steps, references, and back burner items. Action steps are the most important part of the project. They're specific and concrete steps you will take to make the project happen. For example, if my project was to organize a surprise birthday party for my cat, the action steps might include booking a venue that allows napping, researching if my cat has any friends I could invite, although highly unlikely as she's a narcissist, cooking a tiny cat biscuit flavored cake. The second component of the action method is references, which are valuable pieces of information that you can refer to for your project. These might be a record of my cat's napping schedule, receipts indicating her favorite cat biscuits. The third component of the action method is back burner items, and these are things that don't require immediate action. They aren't necessities right now, but may be important later on, such as themed cat costumes for guests. Not vital, but can definitely see these being important at a later stage. Tip 3. Know your type. There are 3 types of people when it comes to making ideas happen. Dreamers. These are people with tons of ideas but no results to show for them. They love coming up with amazing ideas but have a hard time turning any of them into reality or seeing them to completion. Doers. These people are focused on what's feasible and realistic. They're good at taking sensible actions, but don't tend to get excited by new ideas. And then incrementalists. These are people who can come up with ideas and take action, but they often start too many things at once and don't always effectively finish projects. So, which one are you? Let me know in the comments below. Initially, I thought I was a dreamer, but now I'm leaning more towards an incrementalist, as I definitely tend to start a lot of things and only finish a few. There are pros and cons to each type, and what's important is knowing yourself. You can then team up with others who complement you, and that's where harnessing the force of community comes in. We weren't designed to do things alone. Tip number 4. Survive the project plateau. Scott says the Project Plateau is littered with the carcasses of dead ideas that have never happened. What do? We just generate a new idea. We do it again and again and again. What we continue to do is we escape this Project Plateau with a new idea, and instantaneously we return to this high of excitement, this willingness to execute. And this is why there are more half-written novels in the world than there are novels. We humans tend to have shiny object syndrome. We're motivated by things that are new. The early stages of a project can be the easy parts. To actually make ideas happen, long-term commitment is needed. I can't even begin to tell you how many ideas I've abandoned halfway through, including, but not limited to, a travel blog, a book about moving to London, a book about surviving a quarter-life crisis, a website featuring interviews with people who have their dream jobs. The list goes on. I do think some ideas aren't meant to be finished, but I still have hopes of finally completing some of them. Need to get organised. When it comes to ideas, it's important to spend energy improving how you execute, and that's where the action method comes in. Tip 5. Short-circuit the reward system. From a young age, we're wired to be driven by short-term rewards. In school, we study for tests to get a good mark, and that good mark then gets us approval from our teachers and parents. When we get a job and move into the workforce, that good mark becomes a salary or wage, and approval from our boss or colleagues. We often seek approval, and it can be like a short-term high. But when it comes to making ideas happen, we need to be in it for the long haul. To help motivate ourselves to push ideas forward, we can short-circuit the reward system. Unplug from the traditional reward system. It's important that we learn to not seek validation from others. Learn how to take risks when no one believes in you. Create a system of incremental rewards. Set mini goals, and when you reach them, take the time to reflect how far you've come. This will motivate you to keep going. Also, happiness is its own reward. Working on a project that is fulfilling and in line with your values brings happiness into your life, and this happiness can make it easier to stick it out when things get tough. So there you go, 5 tips for making ideas happen. If you want to take a look at the book, check out the link below. Remember, ideas aren't worth much. The value is in the execution. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Here's a cat emoji for your time. If you want a PDF with these tips, check out the description below. Like this video and subscribe to the Better Adult Project for more practical and realistic life tips.